So I had my accident when I was 6. It was in 1997 and it was the 1st of May. I was a tomboy. I would have been out with my dad and helping with everything, sort of moving hay bales and herding cattle, and I was asking to help in the farm, and I was asking if I could drive the tractor, which normally would have happened with us. I would have sat on someone's lap and driven down to the farm and pretended like I'd done a lot of work, but really it was just pretending. And my dad had workers working for him, and he said that I would go with one of them. And again, that was fine. He said that I could drive the tractor once we'd gotten to the farm. And I was sitting on the hubcap of the wheel inside the cab of the tractor. And because I was 6 and didn't have a lot of patience, I was kind of bouncing up and down trying to occupy myself, and I had my hand on the handle above the door. There was no door on the tractor cab. I lost my grip and I fell from the tractor. And because he thought that I was in front of the tractor, he reversed. I just remember the wheel going over me across my midriff. I was put back into the tractor cab and I was brought down to my uncle, who brought me back up to this house. And while I was sitting on the couch on someone's lap, I just saw that my arm from the shoulder socket from here around to here had been split open, and I could just see the ball in the socket of the shoulder. And at that point, that was the first sign that there was any kind of blood or anything related to the injury at all. I was still able to walk for about 24 hours, and then I lost that as I assume the adrenaline wore away, and that fight or flight that your body goes through, it felt it was safe enough to relax. And at that point, I became paralysed. There was 8 weeks in Crumlin in the Children's Hospital, and they basically just get you out of danger. So I spent another 8 weeks in Dún Laoghaire at the National Rehabilitation Hospital. And that was the actual skills part of it. So learning to transfer from bed to chair, changing myself, getting dressed, and just adjusting to going back to school. When you're a child dealing with disability, it's fine. It's only when you start getting into your teenage years that you sort of start seeing something different. When I was 16, I did have an operation on my back to straighten it. I have scoliosis. And when I had that operation, I had to relearn all the skills that I had learned when I had my accident. It was like being back at square one, because apart from anything else, learning the skills, I was so completely dependent on other people, which doesn't sit very well with me. I like to be as independent as I can be, and to have that taken away from you and have somebody else have to do it for you is very frustrating. You can quite easily take it for granted that what you've done 100 times will work out. You know, it did for us. It's to think about, well, that one time that something might go wrong, what happens then? You need to be as observant of that as possible to make sure that your child is as safe as possible on the farm.